If you think skin retouching is just duplicating a layer, setting the blend mode to vivid light, inverting the image, applying filters like high pass, hiding texture, and later applying Gaussian blur to reveal texture, then setting a mask, inverting it, and painting with your brush to finish the skin retouching. Isn't that like deciding to wash your face with soap but without water? Isn't it weird? If you like it, that's fine. But if you want a different result like this, I can show you how I did it. It's up to you. A good result needs time. If you're still here and this is what you decide, let's go to Photoshop. I would be glad if you subscribe. Welcome back. We will start working with some minor adjustments and lights. If you are here to check the skin retouching, you can check episode 1. The link is in the description. Otherwise, if you want to see how I get the final result by working with lights and making some minor adjustments, you are welcome. Anyway, let's start by merging all layers into a new one and renaming it Corrections. I want to refine the shape of the lips, so I will use the ruler and set some guides to use them as references later when I start refining. Then I will go to Filter and choose Liquify. In the New tab, first I will check the guides box and now I can see them. I will adjust the pressure of the Liquify brush to 50%. I will try to refine the lips to make the right side more symmetrical to the left side. My adjustments will be really minor as I don't want to affect the skin texture. I hope you get it, so I will speed up the process. Still, you can replicate my adjustments. Here is the before and after. I think I will slightly adjust the nose. Time to move to lights. Let's create a curves adjustment layer. And I will decrease the lights of the midtones slightly. Now select the mask and go to color range. Choose shadows from the select menu. Let's adjust the range and fuzziness of the shadows. All this process is about enhancing the three-dimensional aspect of the photo. We will enhance the shadows now. I will set the fuzziness to 73 and the range to 147. Then click OK. Set the feather of the mask to 7.1, then decrease the opacity of the layer to 68%. Now let's create a new curves adjustment layer and increase the brightness of the photo slightly. Again, follow the same process, color range, but this time select highlights instead of shadows. We want to adjust the midtones and slightly highlight to pop up the face. So I will set the fuzziness to 32 and the full range to 255. I will set the feather to 30.6. I will put the two curves adjustment layers in a group and rename it SL, referring to shadows and lights. You can already see the difference. Now let's create another curve. We will decrease the brightness again, and this will be the burn layer where we will darken the shadows in some areas, but this time manually. I will select the mask and invert it. We will use the white brush tool to paint over the inverted mask to restore the dark tones of the curve that we just created. Make sure the hardness is set to 0. Let's darken and enhance some details. I will start with the eyes. I will set the feather of the mask to 27.3. Now let's enhance other parts and decrease the opacity of the brush. Now let's create a new curve, and this will be the dodge layer, so I will increase the brightness slightly. Again, select the mask and invert it. I will adjust the opacity and paint over the areas I want to brighten, mainly the highlights. Once we are done, I will set the feather of the mask to 10.7. I will decrease the opacity of the layer to 75% and put the burn and dodge layers in a group, which I will rename DB. Now you can see how enhancing the light played a big role in the photo. It is time to work on the eyes. Let's create a new layer on top, and we will paint over it with a white brush. Just match the brush size to almost the size of the iris and set its hardness to 68%. Then click twice on each iris and set the opacity of the brush back to 100%. Change the blend mode to Soft Light. Rename the new layer Iris, then double-click on the layer, and the Layer Style tab will show up. Here we will adjust the shadows of the underlying layer by holding Alt on Windows or Option on Mac. Then slide the shadows cursor to the right to remove the bright part of the iris layer from the dark area of the eyes. Then click OK. We need to refine it more, so I will create a mask and paint with a black brush to remove the unwanted areas. Now you can see the difference. Brighter, more beautiful eyes. I will set the opacity of the layer to 82%. Now I will create a new layer, and we will brighten the eyes slightly more by painting with a white brush again. Now set the blend mode to Overlay. I will apply some Gaussian blur on it to feather it. I will go with 8.4. Let's decrease the opacity to 47%, and I will refine it a little bit more. Now let's set the two new layers to a group, and I will rename it Iris. Here is the before and after. Now I will enhance the color by using the Selective Color Adjustment layer. I will adjust the color. You can adjust it according to your personal preference. If you are still here, I will be so glad if you subscribe, as this will encourage me to upload more videos about photography and editing. See you in the next video. You are all welcome, and have a nice day.